A new Mexican restaurant is coming to Hyannis. An undercover sting forces one local restaurant to close for a day next month. And to find out how you can apply for a grant to promote arts in Barnstable and Yarmouth. These stories on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Monday, September 29th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mantle. A new Mexican restaurant is coming to Hyannis. The family-owned El Rodeo will soon open in what was once Outback Steakhouse. Josh Rollinado, a manager with the company, talked about their establishment during this morning's licensing authority hearing.
It's as far as the recipes go, they're all family recipes from Jalisco, Guadalajara, Guadalajara and El Puerto de Catarina, which are or Guadalajara's a big city, but a small town in Mexico. We all come from there. We started in 1986 in Virginia with our first El Rodeo in Roanoke, Virginia, and we've just slowly been growing our way this far north. Like I said, as far as the members of it, we're pretty much all family.
The licensing authority wanted to make sure the new manager, Raul Herta, understood all of Barnstable's regulations and asked him about his experience in the food industry.
I'm working in the business because I'm part of the family since 25 years. And I'm working in Ohio right now, but I'm going to move to Cape Cod. But I have experience for a lot of time.
Have you managed an establishment?
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah.
And how soon you're going to be ready to open up the doors? I see you got the sign out.
That's the other question.
You open now?
We want to know if we can open with no liquor license to start as soon as we can, and then.
Well, it has to be approved, obviously, by the Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission on the serving of alcohol.
Yeah, but.
He means without alcohol, just strictly food.
Mm-hmm. We discussed this before, right, Mr. Scally?
Mr. Chairman, I know that it did ask Ms. Hartsgrove about being able to be open ahead of time without the alcohol, which we have done in the past, but you'd have to have no alcohol on the premises, no deliveries, completely alcohol-free, if the commissioners should choose to approve that until you get the ABCC approval.
So you can't even have it on the premises. So you're willing to do that and just open up with a common victualer's license?
Yes. Yes, for the meantime, but we still have full intention of achieving the alcohol license.
I see the menu is extensive, and your other establishments have basically the same menu?
That's where we vary a little. Our menus are pretty different across the coast. They kind of suit each area. For example, in this one, we'll most likely be selling more seafood, obviously. And but as far as identical, not really. But our recipes, subtle recipes, are the same.
The licensing authority unanimously approved the request. This will be the first El Rodeo opened in Massachusetts. It will be opened daily from 11 a.m. to midnight. Bobby Burns was in the hot seat during the meeting today. The restaurant and bar was accused of selling alcohol to a minor during a police sting operation. Barnstable Patrolman Stephen Marr spoke about the incident.
As you know, every summer we conduct sting operations, otherwise known as compliance checks. And this particular summer, we went out and conducted one sting operation. The positive part of that is that on the 28th of August, we went to over 50 establishments. And unfortunately, there was only one that didn't pass the sting. In this particular case, it was Bobby Burns. As you know, we hold information sessions every spring. And during those information sessions, we advise everyone that attends that we will be conducting sting operations. During those information sessions, there was a member of Bobby Burns' staff there that heard that. Along with that, when we send the mailing out to advertise those different information sessions, within those mailings, we also advertise the fact that we will be conducting sting operations during the summer. Along with that, a couple weeks before we do it, I actually let people know that we're going to do it, so it's pretty well known that it's going to happen. On the night of the 28th, I used an undercover operative who was 20 years old. And prior to going out that particular night, Following the sting guidelines, I made sure that he had nothing in his pockets, that he had no identification on him, that he had no money on him other than what I gave him. I also had him take a breathalyzer test, which he blew a 0-0, so he was not under the influence of alcohol prior to going out on the sting operation. After the sting operation, I also conducted a breath test on him, and it was still a 0-0. So he did not consume alcohol at any time during the sting operation. I took a photo of him, which I believe you have in your packet. He also signed the sting guidelines. And following the sting guidelines, we went out to the 50 different establishments. During this particular night, at about 5 minutes of 11, I sent the undercover operative into Bobby Burns. He went into Bobby Burns, he went up to the bar, and he asked for a Cape Cod Blonde Ale beer, which he purchased for $6.60. He stated to me that a male bartender in his mid-40s with black hair and a light blue shirt poured the beer for him and placed it in front of him. After paying for the beverage, he left the establishment and came out to me. A short time later, at about 20 minutes of 12, I went back into the establishment and recognized the bartender as one who had been described to me as by the undercover operative. I went up to that bartender and identified him as a David Newson, and he admitted to me that he understood that he had served to an underage person and realized that it was probably part of the sting.
The founder of the restaurant, Bobby Burns, was candid during the hearing and said he regretted the incident.
Accept all the facts. We're not going to argue with the police department and so forth. They did a good job. We appreciate what they did. Well, I apologize right now to the board and also to the community. I think I was inspired by the German American Club to make this comment in German about this thing that just happened to us, because we're very ashamed. Gegen Dummheit sind sogar der Götter hilflos, by Goethe. Against stupidity, even the gods are helpless. We know that we have all kinds of corporate policies in place, and we have for years and years, and Jeff Moore will amplify what I have to say about this. He's been with me for about 40 years. I've been in business 42 years. I'd like to think that we've done a good job with responsible beverage service over the years, through seminars, et cetera, but he'll explain that. So we're ashamed. We admit to the facts. There's no way out of it except to say we're guilty as hell.
Co-owner Jeffrey Moore echoed Burns's regret and said the employee in question was fired.
And so we've always been on the forefront of these issues and considered it our #1 priority. You can see this was in the old Dumfries and Hyannis, and Bobby was on the panel with some of the leaders in the industry. And that led to Bobby being appointed to the Governor's Highway Safety Bureau with Governor Dukakis and going all around the state speaking on the issues of responsible beverage service. It then led to a invitation to the White House. Bobby was one of 75 businessmen in the country that was invited to the White House for a great alternatives reception for responsible beverage service during the holidays. And so we've really been what we think is in the forefront of this issue, and it's probably even the reason why we're even more embarrassed by what happened. We took immediate action. We fired the employee, and there's not much more we could do. The employees are well aware that it's the one thing in our company that will get immediate dismissal. I apologize for the issue of the change in manager. I live in town. I visit the restaurant every day. It was just an oversight on our part, and as I said, the paperwork is in Town Hall and will be taken care of.
Ultimately, the licensing authority found Bobby Burns guilty. As punishment, the restaurant and bar in Hyannis will be closed on Tuesday, October 14th. Artists and educators take note. The Mid-Cape Cultural Council is accepting grant proposals from organizations and individuals in Barnstable and Yarmouth. The MCC is seeking arts, humanities, and science programs that are created for the benefit of residents in both towns. Grant proposals for performances, collaborations, artist residences, and more are eligible to apply. You can learn more at mass-culture.org/midcape. Well, be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will chat with Police Chief Paul McDonald. We'll learn more about the Waterways Commission, and we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mantle.